Good morning. So we're out here at the bend today. I've been a bit slack recently. Haven't shot that many videos. There's been a lot happening on the car behind me. Modifications and upgrades wise that I haven't really put the time into shooting, but we're out here at the bend because it's round 4 and 5. It's a double header weekend. That means there's a comp on Saturday and there's another completely different comp with a different layout on Sunday. So some of the things that you've missed in the last couple of months that I haven't filmed is the RB's got a bit of an upgrade. 200 kilowatts at Winton wasn't cutting it to hang with the big boys. So grabbed the turbo off the CA, the GTX 2860, slapped it onto the RB with a new rear housing, and that thing is making 260 kilowatts now, which is pretty good on a small turbo, so she's pretty responsive. Done a couple of other bits and pieces. We've got Oz Dyno to put modify the manifold so it's forward facing, got rid of all of that extra plumbing, and we've got some R8 coil packs so that we're not having any misfires. So I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, also fuel system E85, new injectors, bigger injectors, that sort of thing. So this thing is going to be reasonably competitive hopefully today. Once again, Smokey's not ready. Seems like the never-ending story, but is what it is. At least I've got a car here, and these are probably two of my more favourite layouts. So I'm keen to get out on track, and there's some good interstate drivers that have come past and come up for this event. So I am keen to go drive with them. Update. First practice session went alright. Eventually it overfilled the catch can, which I haven't checked in a few events, so not a big deal. Emptied that. Next session went perfect. I did have a little bit of a close moment following Roger on the last lap, but I did some great runs with Aussie and a couple of others. But went to the Bowsers here to fill up and drove in perfectly fine. Turned her off, filled her up, went to start, wouldn't start. Now I'm getting a tow back to the pits so I can figure out what the bloody hell is going on. I got towed back to pits. I think it's just a little bit rich on startup, so probably just start with the throttle wide open, and that should fix that up for the weekend, and maybe just have a look at the software on the computer side and figure out why she didn't want to start then. So anyway, running now, got fuel, tires, and we're ready for our first round of battles.
Last round, one of his dear friends piloted this car who about a year ago, unfortunately passed early on from us. But now Tate chucking the car in, pushing up deep against that wall, taking that real nice high line. D1 Davey, smooth line there, but a bit of proximity to be desired as Tate flicks it into that first transition and is on. Davey's there. Davey really struggling to overcome the mechanical grip of that much more modern car. But tidy lap from both drivers. Yeah, Tate in the chase.
That's it. Here we go. As they come through, the judges want these cars to stay side by side as they come through around this corner. But now, here they go for it. The lead car with the initiation. The chase car can
great
jump
flick in by D1 Davey as something's flapping around.
He's waving. He's waving.
That's a really good lap though. Now that we're looking at it a bit more closely. That's good. Reasonable depth by Davey. A bit more to be desired, but Tate's right there. Tate dialing off a little bit to make space for the transition. Smooth as by Davey. I think he'll be a lot happier with that one.
Well, first battle with Davey's done. Had overall, it was pretty good. We've got the lead run. I missed third in the run-up, so that kind of messed me up a little bit, and it messed Davey up a decent amount, which is a bit disappointing. I don't want to mess up his runs. And yeah, from there, ran the wall, ran around the outside. I was overall pretty happy with that run, other than the first little part coming out the speed gate. On the chase, probably expected Davey to go a little bit further out than he did, and ended up having to work my way up to his door throughout the corner. And because he was a little bit more mid-track, it made me a bit tight going into the right-hand horseshoe. So I had to sort of re-dive back onto his door halfway through that. But overall, I think it was pretty good. It's a good first battle to get those nerves out the way. And on to battle 2. Good.
Mad, man. Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun.
You got on that dirt and I saw this bit of angle. I'm like, oh,
yeah, I know.
Oh, keep going for it.
I was scared, but I'm like, nah, just commit, stay with it. Fuck it, we'll see what happens.
Oh, sick. So make battle there with Aaron. I thought that was better than the first battle, but the judges don't seem to agree. So probably need to make sure I get my chase a little bit tidier and don't get myself caught on the left-hand side going into the right-hander. So focus on that now, but we're through to the 16 and going up with Ferrin for the next battle.
Onto the main straight. Tate lives through the lead. Ferrin to the chase. Tate throwing it up hard against the wall.
Ferrin is up there.
Up and
it could be a spin. There were
Thankfully,
sparks
no
coming
contact.
off the back of Ferrin. Had to guide the car back into the wall a bit, but I reckon it was...
Well, that's day one done. My chase on Ferrin, that didn't really go to plan. The car wasn't quite positioned, or I didn't really expect how he was going to enter and go through that corner, and it caught me off guard. So that's my bad. I should have seen that coming. And yeah, that was not ideal. Spun then, trying to chase him down, and then I figured I might as well go for hell for leather, and I ended up spinning again. So yeah, that's what happens. I knew that there's only really one goal, and that's to make it in the top 8. Any other goal isn't really, you know, anything tangible to me, so I may as well go as hard as I can, try and make the top 8. If I get 16th rather than 12th trying to get the top 8, then so be it. So that was today. Ended up going out and doing the night prac too, which is a lot of fun. I'll chuck some clips up in after this clip, and yeah, the car was good. I've changed the fuel filter now, just ready for tomorrow, because that thing's got so much gunk in the tank. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to leaning out. And yeah, on to tomorrow. I didn't quite touch the wall, but...
Yes, you fucking did.
Did I?
Yeah, you got on that.
No, like I didn't touch it.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't feel it.
No, I did. That very last run. Fuck yeah, bro.
Fuck yeah. I have no idea if I have any footage of that. Well, it's a new day. We're doing the over the hill layout today, and probably one of my favourites. We're had that layout last night when we were doing practice, and I've got to say, it is pretty sketchy at night going over that hill. Can't see jack shit. There's one tyre stack that is kind of a marker of the track, and just kind of aim to the side of that. But it was good fun. I did learn a few things that I can take into today. Firstly, 4th gear, flat out to the initiation point and then down the hill is the way to do it. Any other speed, if I was a bit lower, if I was in 3rd gear, I couldn't hold the corner around the latter stages because I wasn't going fast enough. So I'm gonna have to make sure I'm going flat out in and down. The problem is gonna be if I go to follow someone that doesn't do that and is a bit slow. This thing has a terrible handbrake even by cable standards, and I'm gonna struggle to keep the car sideways. So that is gonna be something we're gonna have to deal with as we go. But yeah, sun's out, a good layout, car's going pretty decent, so should be a ripper day. Well, as you can probably imagine, that sucked. Bit of a monologue incoming. As you can probably see, slowest part of the track, 2nd lap of practice. I think Aussie was probably jumping up on my door, diving on my door just at the point that I spun, which is the worst possible scenario. Even though it's a slow corner, probably still at about 25 kilometers of impact there. His door's gone straight into the bash bar on the missile, and yeah, gone into the car. Thankfully, he had obviously a roll cage and side intrusion like you need in L1, and that did a good job of protecting his legs, but it has done a good job also of messing up the car. And obviously his head has hit the roll cage too, so that is less than ideal. I don't care about this car, obviously, for obvious reasons, but not not terribly happy that the situation to happen to his, particularly when he's going to be fighting for a championship later that day. 100% less than ideal. So that is a bugger, and I guess it does come with the territory of drifting, but it doesn't make you feel any better. And I've been fairly lucky in my drift career not to have too many decent sized accidents, but this is definitely one of them. Anyway, so round 5, I ended up pulling out of just because, well, I guess partially because of that. I wasn't really in the best headspace. I did a couple more laps and lowered tyre pressures, but biggest problem was, as you probably saw when I was trying to tape up the handbrake, this is a less than ideal setup for my hand, and trying to go down 2 downshifts while floating the car and trying to handbrake with a cable handbrake that doesn't really want to work. Doesn't make for very consistent driving. I knew that some of the drivers I was going against might be going for the championship, and I just didn't want to risk it. So ended up pulling out of that. Didn't really have anything to prove, to be honest, in this thing. I was just out there for fun. So yeah, I pulled out, ended up spending the rest of the day in the back of Broady's truck, helping out the judges when I needed to, and still had a pretty good day other than the incident with Aussie. So that's a bugger. Round 4 was actually pretty good, so we'll skip to round 4. That was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. I probably learnt to drive up against the wall with some left foot braking and chase with a little bit more left foot braking, so that was good to learn that. If I drove like I drove in practice in the comp, I would have probably done a decent amount better, but I guess I'm a little rusty on the comp side of things since I've only had, well, that's the only comp I've done this year with a car that was functioning properly. So that is the way that it goes. I've got Locktoberfest coming up. I'm going to do some laps out there, so I'll probably do a video. But yeah, sorry to end on a bit of a downer, but that comes part and parcel. So anyway, I will see you on the next video.